Turn your life around for the final bell. It's now or never, you have to change well. It's now or never, you must change well. Hello and welcome to another week of the Change Well podcast. Now this is the second week in a row that I'm touting a book, and this one is a real good one. I just started listening to it. It's called The Body by Bill Bryson, and it is all about the body. I've heard about it for several years, and now that I'm listening to it on audiobook, I can see why. The human body's mysteries are as riveting as any thriller by Baldacci or Patterson. Even though the human body is the most studied topic in science, we are just beginning to scratch the surface of it. It has so many astonishing features, and this book is just chock full of facts. And here's just one of them. I'm just going to read an excerpt here because it's so amazing. Unpacked, you are positively enormous. Your lungs smoothed out would cover a tennis court, and the airways within them would stretch nearly from coast to coast. The length of all your blood vessels would take you 2.5 times around the sun. And the most remarkable part of all is your DNA. You have a meter of it packed into every cell. And so many cells that if you formed all the DNA in your body into a single strand, it would stretch 10 billion miles to beyond Pluto. Think of it. There is enough of you to leave the solar system. You are, in the most literally sense, cosmic. And quite frankly, the healing features of the body we'll soon find out are cosmic. After reading about this amazing gift of the body, I was grateful. But I was also a little bit upset when I reflected on the many years that I had not taken care of my body. Indeed, I've made a mess out of the miracle of me. Before I decided to change well, I had all kinds of negative impacts to my body. My inflammation markers were off the charts. Also, my blood sugar was in the pre-diabetic stage, and the power of my heart contraction was half of what it should be. I was in a bad state and my health showed it. I had severe bronchitis 3 times a year with at least one bout of walking pneumonia annually. And why am I telling you all this? I don't want to make you feel sorry for me, or maybe yourself if you're in a similar situation. Instead, I want to go over what I did to get well with the help of this fantastic gift of the body, which Bryson explains so well. As impressive as the fact that our DNA, if laid out end to end, would reach past Pluto, I still can't get over that, is the fantastic healing properties of our body and the microbe inhabitants that are inside our body. I don't know if you know this, we have beneficial microbes inside our body that protect us and can heal our inflammation if we provide them with hospitable environments. Likewise, digesting just a bit of magnesium through leafy vegetables and nuts can help with heart health by providing nutrients that help the heart beat more. One last example is the regenerative nature of sleep. I love sleep. I don't get enough of it. Lack of sleep as stated can cause weight gain, stress, and inflammation through excessive cortisol. But getting enough sleep, at least 7 hours, provides many, many benefits, as we shall see. Now, these are just 3 of the body's astonishing self-correcting mechanisms. The book on tape by Bryson is, I think, 14 hours. So you could have many, many more than this. But I'm going to give you some related to my own health story. Let's examine the aforementioned problems that I had: inflammation, type 2 diabetes, and a lack of immunity, to see how the body's self-healing processes did help correct them and could have helped me correct them sooner. The first thing, let's discuss reducing inflammation in the body. Increased inflammation markers such as CRP, standing for C-reactive protein, are one of the surest signs that your body is not healthy. When I was at my most unhealthy, my C-reactive protein and the problem is that the CRP test, although inexpensive, is not always part of your standard test that you get from a doctor. You have to request it. only when I ordered a more extensive physical that I found that my CRP was literally so far out of range. It was literally it was off the paper almost. It was at the very edge of the white paper. They couldn't even put it out of range any further than that. In my case, the CRP indicated that I had a terrible inflammation in my body, and it was causing a heart problem. And this was confirmed through further tests. Now, besides my prescribed medication I got from the doctor, I decided to take measures naturally to use my body's healing properties to control the inflammation. Here are 5 things that I started doing. First, I improved hydration. This is like one of the most important things that almost anyone can do. I was chronically dehydrated due to the fact that I didn't drink enough water. Instead, I drank 5 to 6, maybe 7 Diet Cokes a day. Now, staying properly hydrated helps to flush out the toxins in your body that cause inflammation. If you drink things like Diet Cokes, you get artificial sweeteners and coloring in them, and processed products that can also cause inflammation. Now, when I changed away from the Diet Coke habit, I switched to carbonated water with lemon and then just water with lemon. And I now get my full 8 glasses of water a day or more, and it helps me a lot. If you want to get rid of inflammation, flush it out with hydration. The next thing is kind of obvious. Improve your diet. I changed my diet to include more vegetables, and such as Brussels sprouts and broccoli, which are really good for getting away inflammation. I also added omega-3 fats. I ate some fish. I got to tell you, I still don't like fish that much. But I also supplemented with walnuts and other nuts that have omega-3, which I really do like. I also switched my nightly snack of ice cream to yogurt, and I flavored it with berries, and the change had 2 benefits. First, by switching from ice cream to yogurt, it removed the harmful fat and sugar in ice cream. But more importantly, and we'll get more on this later, it introduced probiotics that are inside of yogurt. Probiotics in gut health can do a lot to heal people naturally instead of medications. And we're going to get into that. So I improved my diet. The third thing is I supplemented my blood test, and then also somebody suggested I get tested for vitamin D. I had a severe vitamin D deficiency. The CDC reports that up to 90% of people in northern regions in the world do not get enough vitamin D. This was the case with me, confirmed by my extended blood panel. Now, the best way to get vitamin D is through sunlight, but there is often not enough sunlight during the winter months to get enough. In one of the most interesting anecdotes in his book, The Body, Bryson explains the importance of vitamin D and how evolution and modern life have made it impossible to consume enough of it. Vitamin D is vital to health. It helps to build strong bones and teeth, boosts the immune system, fights cancers, and nourishes the heart. It is thoroughly good stuff. We can get it in 2 ways, from the foods we eat or through sunlight. However, the slow evolution of different skin tones worked fine when people stayed in one place or migrated slowly. But nowadays, increased mobility means that lots of people end up in places where sun levels and skin tones don't get along at all. In regions like Northern Europe and Canada, it's impossible to extract enough vitamin D from weekend sunlight to maintain health, no matter how pale one's skin. And we'll get to that in a second, what that means. So vitamin D must be consumed as food, and hardly anyone gets enough. To meet dietary requirements from food alone, you would have to eat 15 eggs or 6 pounds of Swiss cheese every day. And that's from Bill Bryson's book, The Body. Now, let me explain a little bit about skin tones and vitamin D in different climates. Our skin color, I don't know about you, but I'm not going to eat 6 pounds of Swiss cheese. I'll have a different problem. The body has a lot of natural healing stuff. We can extract this beautiful vitamin D from the sunlight, but none of us get enough of it. So in this case, you really do need to supplement it with a vitamin D pill. Fourth way to get rid of inflammation is to exercise moderately. The reason this reduces inflammation is it gets everything moving around. It helps cleanse your lymphatic system. It gets the circulation going. You don't need to exercise a lot to get rid of inflammation or have positive benefits to reduce it. Walking 30 minutes or doing moderate weightlifting or stretching reduces inflammation while it avoids the risk of injury, like if you're like me and you're a little bit older. The fifth way to reduce inflammation is support the body's detoxification systems. The liver and the lymphatic systems are two of the human body's most amazing components. The liver is so vital, another fact from Bryson's book, that if it shuts down, you'll die in a few hours. It cleanses out toxins that cause inflammation and other harmful effects. The best way to aid this vital organ is to cut down on the alcohol and not become obese or overweight. When I began to reduce my weight and alcohol consumption, my liver improved and aided in further reducing my inflammation. We'll cover more about the lymphatic system later when I'm talking about immunity. Now, these 5 steps help me get my inflammation markers in the low range of standard and immensely improved my heart health and immunity, as we'll discuss later on in this podcast. So just these 5 simple things allowed my body to heal itself for the inflammation. And where it was off the charts, off the paper, it's now it's at the very low end of normal. So it's very good. The second thing I want to talk about is how your body can help you reduce the risk of type 2 diabetes. Type 2 diabetes is at epidemic levels in the U.S. I know so many people that have it. They say only 1 in 10 Americans have this chronic condition. I think it's even higher. It has many harmful effects, including loss of limbs, heart problems, loss of eyesight, and reduced liver function. Now, I was in pre-diabetic stage before I started going on my wellness journey. And since then, my glucose levels have been extremely normal, even though my family is very prone on both sides to diabetes. What did I do? Well, the obvious thing is I significantly reduced sugar. I had a giant sweet tooth before making changes. We already talked about stopping the ice cream, but I also stopped my peanut M&M habit and switched to fruit if I needed something sweet. Eating fruit whole provides fiber, another critical element in tackling inflammation, but also you can metabolize the sugar in fruit a lot better than you can, as long as it's whole fruit, than you can with refined sugars. I have also cut down on artificial sweeteners because they mimic sugars in your body and your body reacts to a similar manner to it. I've also substituted refined sugar when I want something sweet with honey. And sometimes I occasionally make desserts with honey. The next thing is through improved gut health through probiotics. So the first 5 we talked about all help diabetes and inflammation. As does the reducing sugar and artificial sweetener. This improved gut health is a similar thing. It helps you in so many ways. The way I did this was I started eating a lot of probiotic-rich foods. And probiotics are the helpful microbes and bacteria that are in your digestive tract. The way I do that is I love kimchi. I was stationed in Korea twice for a brief period. And I found a great affinity to that food. I eat non-fat yogurt with some fruit mixed in and other probiotic rich foods. My favorite chapter in Bryson's book is on microbes that live in our gut. It's chapter 3 if you're interested, and are essential to the efficient breakdown of food. One interesting fact, and I won't read a whole paragraph on this one, is that roughly half of your body is microbes and bacteria. The other half are human cells. And a full 85% of those human cells are blood vessels. So really the microbes have us outnumbered. Additionally, studies have shown that thinner people have more varied microbes in their digestive tract. That's why I see some people walking around eating anything and they're thin. I think I have one in our house over here. But that's because they have a good probiotics and a lot of beneficial bacteria in their digestive tract. Now, these 2 positive steps, along with the 5 in the previous that I previously discussed, have helped reduce my glucose to normal levels. In the last 9 years, my yearly tests have all remained in normal range. The last thing that we want to discuss here is how your body helps you improve immunity. The improvement in my immunity from the actions I've discussed earlier has been nothing short of miraculous. I spent at least 2 months sick with bronchitis or pneumonia every year. I have not had either since I've taken these actions. Now, what are other things that can help you naturally get your immunity systems up? First is improved sleep. Besides helping you control your weight, sleep is your body's way to restore and reset your immune system. It is often the case that we become sick because we're simply too run down from lack of sleep. I know this to be a fact. And Bryson explains the therapeutic properties of sleep in his chapter on sleep. Sleep has been tied to many biological processes, consolidating memories, restoring hormonal balance, emptying the brain of accumulated neurotoxins, resetting the immune system. People with early signs of hypertension who slept for 1 hour more per night than previously showed a significant improvement in their blood pressure readings. That was my case. It would seem to be, in short, a kind of nightly tune-up for the body. So this is Bill Bryson again, The Body, page 310. The last thing we're going to cover today is taking care of the lymphatic system. The lymphatic system, which is just under our skin, is critical to our immunity. It produces a thing called lymphocytes and other immune cells that fight off infection. Keeping it working correctly is vital to improved immune responses. But how do you do that? Well, it's pretty easy. It's exercise again. Exercise is crucial since it moves the lymph fluid around. And unlike blood, which is pumped by your heart, that's the only way it's going to move around. So if you're a couch potato, you're going to get sick because your lymph fluid isn't moving around the system and your lymphatic system is not in proper order. So exercise and you'll feel better. Now, these are just some of the 9 ways. The book, again, is on audiobook. It's 14 hours. It's an amazing book. I got to tell you, it's riveting. In fact, when I get done the podcast, I'm going to go out for a walk and listen to another hour or 2 of the book. So these are just some ways to heal your body naturally. Look for ways to heal yourself naturally. You may not always find a solution, so work with your doctor. However, as I found in my extreme case, the body is a miraculous gift. Often the way to change well is to support your body's natural healing properties. Till next time, honor your body, honor your gift by changing well.